Hi, my name is Yuki Rashid, and I become representative for my group, which is a group one, to present about our assignment, which is a multinational corporation, Petronas. Next, I will introduce to you guys our group members, and the first one is Muhammad Fahim Akli, and the second one is Nanjala binti Muhammad Rizwan, and the third one is Nurul Atika Zahira, and me is Yuki Rashid Benjamin, and last but not least is our class rep, which is Wan Elia Kistina. So next is introduction. So before we further to our topic, I would like to introduce to you guys what is multinational corporation. So multinational corporation is a company that operates in a home country as well as in other countries around the world. So around the world there are many multinational corporations, but our group choose a Petronas. Petronas is a company based on Malaysia that a company that are committed to producing and delivering energy solution is to advance society sustainably. This company, established in 1974, and also get entrust Act by Malaysia Petroleum Management in the overall of management of Malaysia petroleum resources. This company also spans over 100 countries and have 46,000 of employees around the world. Next, I would like to introduce to you guys about the Petronas background. Basically, Petronas have a three-main core business, which is Petronas Upstream, Petronas Downstream, and Petronas Gas and Maritime. Petronas Upstream is focusing on exploration and development of production of oil and gas resources. For example, Petronas Carigali is responsible to maximize Malaysia hydrocarbon resources. Next is Petronas Downstream. Petronas Downstream also is focusing on the delivery high value product that help the customer. For example, Petronas introduced petrol station and aviation fuels like a Petronas Berita to use in a vehicle in Malaysia. Number three is Petronas Gas and Maritime. So, Petronas Gas and Maritime focusing on processing of liquefied natural gas, the transportation, and pipeline gas. For example, Petronas provides a marine fuels and LNG bunkering service in a global hub. Next, I will tell you about the three goals of Petronas in the latest annual report. The first one is delivering net zero. So, Petronas is committed achieving net zero carbon emission by 2025, guided by Petronas Energy Transition Strategy. And the second one is thriving with nature. Due to operation that impact on the natural ecosystem, Petronas will use all the natural resources responsibly and integrate biodiversity into their operation by reduce waste that they are using. And last, fostering a just transition. So, Petronas fostering a just transition by human rights, sustainable supply chain, and health well-being. For example, Petronas elevate the human right policy to their worker, include issue on the forced labor, child labor, and discrimination to help the worker become more comfortable when they are working with the Petronas. Next, I will tell you how Petronas expand their business. First of all, Petronas use a strategic alliance and partner. Petronas currently have more than 30 investors from Malaysia and around the world. For example, Petros, which is Petroleum Sarawak Berhad, Shell, and Tenaga Nasional Berhad. Petronas also do a collaboration with a big company car, which is a Mercedes AMG in F1. And the next one is direct exporting. Petronas also do a direct exporting of their product, which is LNG. For example, Petronas inks LNG supply agreement with a Japan company, which is Hokkaido Electric Power Company. By doing that, they will more on exporting their products. And last, merger and acquisition. Petronas also do an acquisition to oversee company like Gentari and Da Vinci Group BV. The acquisition objective is to fulfillment of certain condition precedent that not have in the Petronas. Next, I would like to tell you guys reason why Petronas want to expand their business in a three country that I choose, which is in China, Indonesia, and Canada. First, I would like to tell you why Petronas choose China. Basically, China is the number one ranking market in Asia, and China also is the ranking one of imported LNG in the world. So, it will be a advantage for Petronas to export the LNG to China. Second is Indonesia. So, Indonesia is the one of the country near Malaysia that have big area of a deep water. So, when a country have a deep water area, big area, so the process to get a fuel is easy. And the other reason is Pertamina. As you know, Pertamina is a national company first of Indonesia, like a Petronas. And the third one is the Canada. So basically, Canada has a technology features energy efficient and gas turbines that advance, and also can detect a methane leak. And LNG Canada also hence offering strategic access to ASEAN market via West Coast. So the expedition to exporting the LNG become more easier. Next, I would like to tell you the three issues that will Petronas face if they want to pursue new business. The first one is geopolitical uncertainty. As you know, in Asia, there are a big issue on a friction in South China Sea. They also have a conflict between Malaysia and China about the friction of the sea. And the second one is market price volatility. As you know, asset price easily going up and down due to a foreign exchange movement. And last but not least, the issue that will Petronas face is host country regulatory policy. So basically, mostly in Asian country, they have a low rates or zero tax, which is ASEAN country have a organization called AFTA, which is ASEAN Free Trade Area, rather than Europe country.
As a global energy powerhouse, Petronas maintains operation in over 100 countries. They export a diverse portfolio including crude oil, LNG and high-performance lubricants to major markets across Asia, the Middle East, Europe and the Americas. Their 2024 annual report highlights continued expansion into North America and the Caribbean. Several external factors are currently reshaping this global trade volume. First, geopolitical instability in the Middle East and Europe has disrupted supply routes, forcing a strategic shift toward energy security. Second, the global energy transition is altering customer sentiment. As the world moves toward low-carbon energy, Petronas must balance traditional demand with cleaner alternatives. Finally, market volatility. It has led to lower average realized price for oil and gas, which serves as deterrent to capital expenditure in high-cost regions. These factors have directly impacted the bottom line. In 2024, Petronas saw a revenue downturn to 322 billion ringgit. Furthermore, profit after tax dropped from 80.7 billion to 55.1 billion. This confirms that even when trade volumes remain resilient, unfavorable price realization can significantly impact total earnings. In response, Petronas is refining its export strategy through three key pillars. First, through divestment. They have strategically sold non-core assets such as engine in South Africa to focus on higher margin markets. Second, through diversification. They are scaling clean energy exports via Juntari to hedge against long-term fossil fuel demand decline. And last but not least, volume resilience, specifically in LNG, where sales volume increased to 35.7 million metric tons, proving that global energy security remains a critical driver for Petronas, even in a volatile market. In summary, Petronas is proactively navigating global instability by optimizing their asset base and investing in the energy transition. They are positioning themselves to stay resilient against the challenges of international trade.
For this session, I will explain the functions of international financial markets for Petronas, focusing on how the company uses the foreign exchange market. Petronas operates globally and earns most of its revenue in US dollars, while many of its costs and financial reporting are in Malaysian ringgit. This difference in currency exposes the company to foreign exchange, making the use of the forex market necessary. So Petronas use the foreign exchange market mainly for risk management, not for speculation. The company aims to reduce the impact of exchange rate changes on its financial performance and long-term sustainability. The company also uses hedging strategies to lock in exchange rates for future transactions. This helps to stabilize cash flows, protect large capital spending, and manage risks related to borrowing and contracts. In addition, exchange rate movements affects Petronas' balance sheet, including assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity. Change in exchange rates also influence report revenue and profit when foreign earnings are converted into ringgit. Petronas also faces foreign exchange risk from intercompany transactions and foreign currency funding, such as USD that denominated bonds. These risks are managed through the forex market and hedging activities. In conclusion, Petronas uses the foreign exchange market at risk management tool to support stable operations, protect financial performance, and ensure accurate reporting of its global business activities. Based on the Petronas annual report, Petronas Chemical Group Berhad or PCG is not listed on any foreign stock exchange and is listed only on Bursa Malaysia. Therefore, PCG does not use the foreign exchange market to issue shares. However, PCG is still exposed to the forex market because of its international operations. In three quarters 2024, PCG reported foreign exchange losses mainly due to USD denominated translations and currency translation effects, especially related to Pengerang Petrochemical Company or PPC. BCG recorded a loss after tax of 762 million ringgit, but this was largely due to unreleased forex losses. If forex effects excluded, the company's core operations remain profitable with an estimate profit after tax of 352 million ringgit. Operationally, PCG continued to perform well with revenue around 8 billion ringgit, 92% plant utilization, and PPC completing performance days ahead of schedule. In conclusion, PCG's foreign exposure comes from operational and financial activities, not overseas share listing, and its equity financing remains domestic.
This slide shows the main currency used by Petronas. As a global energy multinational corporation operating in more than 50 countries, Petronas deals with multiple currencies. However, the two most important currencies are the Malaysian ringgit and also the US dollar. The Malaysian ringgit is mainly used for domestic operations, financial reporting, and also local expenditure since Petronas is based in Malaysia. Meanwhile, the US dollar is used for most crude oil and also LNG sales, as well as major international payments such as drilling equipment, shipping services, and also refinery machinery. This is because the global oil and gas industry primarily operates in the US dollar, making USD Petronas' main revenue currency. This slide shows how the US dollar moved against the Malaysian ringgit over the past year. As you can see from the chart, the USD and MYR exchange rate fluctuated quite a lot, showing that currency movements were unstable. Because most of Petronas' revenue is earned in US dollar, a weaker ringgit generally increases revenue when it is converted back to MYR. However, when the ringgit strengthens, the reported revenue in MYR becomes lower. At the same time, a weaker ringgit also rises operating costs, especially for domestic operations that rely on important goods and services. So, these exchange rate fluctuations created profits volatility for Petronas. For example, in 2024, the company recorded significant unrealized foreign exchange losses due to revaluation of USD denominated payables and shareholder loans within its subsidiaries. Overall, the unpredictable movement of USD and MYR exchange rate had a negative impact on Petronas' reported profits. Over the past year, the most significant change was the volatility between the US dollar and the Malaysian ringgit. As shown from the graph before, a stronger ringgit reduced the MYR value of USD denominated revenue, which negatively affected reported revenue and contributed to lower group profit. At the same time, exchange rate movement increased operating expenses for domestic investments that rely on imported goods and also services. So in addition, currency fluctuation caused profit volatility, including significant unrealized foreign exchange losses in 2024, as I said from the graph before, and affected the translated value of Petronas' overseas assets and also income from subsidiaries.
Next, we move on to the international trade financing practice employed by Petronas. As you can see, these are the types of payment methods that Petronas could utilize. The first one is open accounts. Open accounts is a method that requires the seller to ship the goods and gives the buyer a credit period within 30, 60, or 90 days to complete the payment. Other than that, there are also letter of credit. It is a type of contract that the buyer and seller to enter that emphasizes the terms that both parties need to fulfill. Lastly, cash in advance. It is a method that requires the buyer to complete the payment before the goods are being made or received in the future. Next, move to the actual payment method that is used by Petronas based on their annual report of 2024. Based on the report, we find that Petronas used two of the payment methods, which is the open account and letter of credit. We start with open account. Petronas used open account because of its credit strength. It is recorded of RM 102.5 billion from its operating cash flow, which become the symbol of trust from their global suppliers. Other than that, it also reduces cost and admin burden for recurring transactions from their main businesses, which is the upstream, downstream, and gas. Lastly, it is also supported by RM 71.8 billion in the trade and other receivables for financial year of 2024, which shown that Petronas really utilized open account to the fullest. Next is letter of credit. Letter of credit become a method that is used by Petronas because it can mitigate the geopolitical and market risk across 100 and plus countries of operation. Other than that, it also ensures payment through legally binding terms guaranteed by banks from both parties. Lastly, Petronas managed to secure the RM 6 billion of Pengerang refinery, which in the process of final investment decision with their partners of Enilive and Ujlena. For the conclusion, based on what we have explained earlier, we can conclude that Petronas aims to grow its business worldwide using the method of expanding into the markets and balancing its operation across the entire energy supply chain. Other than that, Petronas also uses smart hedging and flexible financing, such as letter of credit, to protect its profits from currency shifts and trade risks in the future. Lastly, Petronas also aims to lead the energy sector by balancing the aggressive global growth with environmental goals such as net zero and biodiversity.